Hello, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast. We have returned.
We have finally returned.
The Kings have returned.
This glorious new year, our reign begins anew. All shall fear us and despair.
Apparently, for all the time that we left, we took our little break because holidays got a little crazy. Nothing bad, just busy, right?
We won't harp on it too much, but the holidays kind of sucked ass for me. I don't know about for you, but...
Only one day did, and that was Christmas Day, because I had to go spend it with family. Other than that, dude.
So I shouldn't say it sucked. It was just so busy, it wasn't enjoyable. Like, to the point of every weekend, in most of the days in between, was just, it was work, come home, cook, clean, do presents or run errands or do something, and then the weekends was see family, see friends, do all this stuff. And then we had a nice big lovely storm that everybody else got to experience, and it just...
And then it was, 2 days after that we were in 55, 60 degree weather.
Yeah, what the hell?
Someone's rolling just for the weather. They're just like, all right, I'm gonna roll. Oh,
Chaos.
I got a nat 1. Yeah. Shoot. All right. And then they rolled again. They're like, oh, I got a 17. All right, we're gonna be in the 60s. I guess that's how our weather is just dictated at this point.
So I didn't actually get to see my mom's side of my family because it was, and granted, I think I was the only one who didn't go. So they're all like, he's a pussy. But
it was too cold out. It was chilly.
I was literally at home because my house got down to like 50 degrees and I jacked the heat up. Like, we were trying our best. I looked like a moron. I looked like I was prepping for the zombie apocalypse quarantine or something. I was putting plastic over the doors and the windows, trying to like help insulate and keep the heat in and stuff. And it was freezing.
Just for those like 2 or 3 days we experienced that, I already know my electric bill is gonna have like a and I didn't put it up that high.
I didn't even think about that. My gas bill is gonna be through the roof.
Just for those 3 days, yeah. I was sitting there. It was actually comfortable, but also I shut my bedroom door, and this space actually heated up quite a bit, enough where I'm just like, okay,
especially if
I'm comfortable, I'm okay.
Now again, yeah, like your electricity's gonna go through the roof, but like if you had like your computer going and maybe a game system or something, plus your heat, that'd probably be. I just got under the blanket and I was like, I hope I don't die.
I hope I don't freeze like that scene in Day After Tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like towards the end when they're all in that, it's, what is it, like a big church or something, they see the ice like slowly freezing everything and everyone's like, which I don't understand. I don't really think
you can't burn that. It's a first edition King James Bible. And they're just like, throw it in the fucking fire.
Wait, was that in the movie? I just remember the scene.
They were in some library and they were burning
That's
books.
what it is, library, yeah.
And the one guy, I think he was a librarian there, or a scholar, somebody who loves books. I don't know, he's a fucking nerd. But, by
Coming
the way...
from us on this podcast.
Yeah, I know, as I have like 10 unread books at my house right now.
It's like, nerd reading
I'm
books.
like all excited because after I get everything moved around, I'm going to put up a bookcase and I can put all my nerdy books up. Yes. But I actually have to be a productive human. Which, first week of January... At work, I hope my boss doesn't listen. I was not very productive in December. I was so burnt out and like defeated.
Dude, that's
the last
fair. I was the same way. Yeah. That's normal.
I kept the normal stuff running, but I had so much extra work to do, and I was like, I don't have the motivation to do this. I tried so hard, and I failed even harder.
I really think is just like, I think if we didn't have a scheduled break like that, because I mean, for my job, I got most of the Christmas and then that week and then New Year's. I got most of that off, so it was like very nice. But
yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, we got 2 days off for Christmas, and then I got a 3-day weekend because of the holiday.
Yeah,
but I had like a doctor appointment in there, so one of my days was like completely cut in half, and just like it was so chaotic. I was so tired. There were so many people off, it didn't feel like work, so it was really hard to focus. And I was just like, I'm looking at my computer screen. I was like, I know I need to do this, but my brain was also like, I'm not gonna work. I'm on strike. It's the holidays. Go fuck yourself.
I really do feel like, if we didn't have that break scheduled, I think we would just work through it just fine. But knowing it's coming and just how hard we work, we're like, I just survive, just survive. That's
Yeah. So this
exactly.
past week I came in and I was actually because the New Year's holiday was nice because I was like, I looked at my wife. I said, my birthday was New Year's Eve, and she was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "You don't want to?" I said, "Nothing." I
Nothing.
said, "I don't want to," which it wound up not happening. People came over. They were there till like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I was invited to that, and I just over the whole break, I saw some people, but like that was my time to be an introvert, and I just had to like, I just need to just chill out. I just need to
So
relax.
after that, they were there. Like it was fun for the most part. I was exhausted.
Sarah did message me on Snap. She's like, "You're coming?" I'm like, "I'm way too stoned to
Well,
drive."
she showed up hammered.
Oh hell yeah!
And they brought their friend along and just like he brought his karaoke machine and I was like, I don't karaoke. Um
Ooh,
so I let
okay.
them do it, but then again, we have a foster dog at the moment. When everybody started singing, she was getting scared. Like went behind the
Oh
couch,
my.
started growling and barking, and they were so loud and drunk nobody noticed. So I spent like the first hour they were there like holding this dog and I was like, please don't bite somebody. Please don't bite somebody.
Okay, now that's not a cool situation. Like,
Well, and it
I
wasn't
understand people want to celebrate, but the poor doggy.
well, and that was the thing is like I was like maybe she was fine, maybe she was just scared and she wouldn't have done anything, but it's not my dog. I don't know. I'm fostering her and I was like probably not going to get her a good home if she mauls somebody.
Exactly.
So like I felt bad cuz they were having fun, but I was also like nobody told me about
Uh,
this. I probably would have said please don't bring it. A cuz the dog and B cuz I don't sing. They tried to hand me a mic. I just passed it back. I was like I don't
you don't
sing.
sing. I can talk on the mic. I don't sing on the mic.
Well, and
None of
that's why I
that.
was like, I don't want to be like a downer. Like, you guys do it. This is hilarious. I love watching it. It's fun. I like karaoke in the sense that I like watching people do it
Oh yeah,
because they have
yeah.
a blast. I just know me, and that's not my comfort zone. I do not sing,
Oh yeah.
period. I don't even
Uh
sing in the shower. I'll sing in my head.
Yeah. It stays there. It
it,
goes
it's locked
nowhere
in the
else.
vault. But anyway, the 2 days after that, I don't think I left the couch. I played, I think, 12 hours of Dragon Age 2 on January
Good for
1st.
you, dude.
I
I
sat
love
down and
that.
Kate's like, "Do you want to do anything?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm
And
exhausted." She napped for a while because she was. I mean, she needs her like 12 hours of sleep a night. She
oh,
didn't get it.
definitely. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just woke up, pounded like 4 cups of coffee, had a mini panic attack, and was like, "Let's go! I'm gonna play this game
Let's
all
play Dragon
day."
Age 2. Let's go.
I'm now on the third act. I'm almost done, and then I think I'm gonna take a break from that, and I got to find a new game to play for a little bit.
Well, yeah. So this is a perfect segue. Perfect segue. If the stars aligned over that break when I wasn't really doing a lot and seeing people, I went to my backlog and I beat a bunch of games. I'm so
Did
like
you?
I'm borderline like
I am.
elated. I'm so proud of myself for
I am
doing this
living like voraciously. Is that it?
vicariously.
Vicariously.
There,
Thank
there
you.
you go. There you go.
I am living vicariously through you because somebody actually called me out at work. They're like, "You don't play a wide variety of games." I was like, "I don't have time to anymore."
Honestly,
But
yeah, the older you get, the wide variety gets narrower and narrower until it's just like these are just the things I enjoy, and it's only
well,
gonna be that.
yeah. When I was a kid, like you have the time to like buy this game, and even if you don't play it right away, you're like, "I know I will have the time. I'll play it eventually." Now I don't have that guarantee.
Nope.
I have unplayed games at my house right now, multiples. And I was like, I'm also to the point financially where I'm like, I can't drop $200 on all these games and then not play them.
Oh, seriously. Yeah. I'm just looking at what games I beat. So I beat Fable 1 through 3.
Such an amazing series. I think they're doing a reboot. I hope they do.
After I beat all the games, I sat there and meticulously looked up stuff, and there's not enough information. I hope they follow the. I'm going to say something little controversial. Get ready to get your pickets and wait
Whoa,
outside.
snowflakes beware, controversial opinion coming.
Fable 2 and Fable 3 are both like my favorites of the season of the series. I don't like Fable 1 at all.
I'll kill you.
It's
No,
it's
no,
after playing like 2. So I played 2, I played 1, then I played 3. I
Oh, you
did it out of
played two
order.
first?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally understandable then, because they follow the same structure basically throughout, but Fable 1 is much more limited than Fable 2.
Oh,
So
definitely.
Plus, I think the story's a lot more engaging in the second one. The first one
Yeah.
had a story, but it was kind of like a explore the world. The world is what's supposed to draw you in, whereas the other one had a
Hmm.
cool world and a crazy ass story.
And then 3 was more story focused, and a
Dude,
lot of people didn't like that because they simplified a lot of mechanics. But
they
I still,
also added a lot of mechanics though too. I don't understand what like buying up the property, you got to make all your gold. Like there
I,
was a lot. I felt there was a lot more in that one.
in the third one,
Yeah.
yeah. I think just the customizability that was in Fable 2 kind of disappear just because you only had there was only a handful of weapons, and what you would do is if you do a certain you there's three different things. If you do those three different things with that weapon, whether it's killed 500 hobs, kill 500 hollow men, whatever it is, then it upgrades and it
Oh,
becomes
this is the
stronger.
third
The
one?
third one,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it changes its appearance. I liked that.
I did
I
too.
thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah, and I think the road to rule is I like it. I like the concept of it. I think it could have been just done a little more RPG-esque just in the way of like branching pathways. Because you
Have a
remember it
little
was
bit
all
more control over the way it evolved, you mean?
yeah, because at the end of the day, to unlock everything that you wanted to engage with in the game, you had to just unlock everything. There was no choice. There was no like, oh, I'm picking this. This is going to lock me out of this tree, but that's okay because that's what I want. Kind of like Fable 2 had a little bit of that where you can spend your money on, or your experience, I'm sorry, on your magic spells and stuff. And there was a huge list. Here, there was like only five. You know what I mean? It seemed limited like that, but they did add more of the
Oh, I see.
simulation life mechanics, which I did
I
enjoy.
sorry for clearing my throat into that. That probably sucked for anybody listening, but
That
sorry, I redlined it, didn't
no,
I?
you're totally fine. I'm gonna cut that, and that's gonna be in the beginning with no context at all. So, yeah,
But
the people
I
now are like, "Oh, now I get it." But when they first started,
um
I'm like, "What the hell?"
so I understand what you're saying. For somebody like me though, and I don't know how many gamers are as neurotic or ADD? No,
Well,
ADHD.
yeah.
Either or, I don't know. I can't handle not seeing and doing everything.
Oh, that's more like OCD, at
Okay,
least the
OCD,
ADHD.
OCD.
Yeah,
And I'm trying really hard to get away from that because like it takes away from the fun of games when you're just worried about did I get everything? Did I miss anything? Am I
oh, yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna see her? And then in reality, it doesn't fucking matter. Like
It
the next
doesn't.
game, you're not losing anything.
Yeah.
And if you do, fucking Google it.
I only do that. Like I've adopted the mentality that I just play through it. I just really just go at my own pace, do what I want to do, and if I really like it that much, then I go back, and that's when
So,
I start doing
and I
that.
will say there is a difference. Like right now, I could start the last mission for Dragon Age 2 and beat the game, but I want to do all the side quests. Like
Yeah, that's
that
different than
that I
like forcing
enjoy.
yourself to do it.
But I'm like, did you ever play Dragon Age 2?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you do the Enigma of Kirkwall?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like that. Like I was like, did I miss it? Did I miss it? I checked like 4 times while playing the game yesterday. Totally sober, might I add. And I was like, did I miss it? Did I miss it? They're all during quests. I wasn't doing any quests, and it was like I kept worrying I was missing stuff. I was like, son of a bitch, this is a problem.
It's a problem that's seeping into my games. What other games did I beat? I beat Dusk.
Oh, but real quick on
Oh,
Fables,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which was you said 2 and 3 you liked them about the same?
Yeah, about the same. It was just like 3 was more story focused, and I liked, the progression of it, building up allies and the funny thing is like after doing little research, the disappointing thing is none of the choices matter in Fable 3 because I think they were trying to juggle like story and that freedom compared to Fable 2 that was more like okay, there is a story and your choices will change the like environments, it'll change the factions and stuff like that. But the story like kind of sat on the sidelines, and you kind of go, how do I? I'm trying to put this in the easiest way I can. You get like pulled back into the story narrative, and as soon as you take a break from that, you jump back into the like side quests and the simulation part of owning property and stuff, and then you jump back in. Like Fable 3, that was kind of like weaved together, and I just don't think they did it as well because the choices you have, like Walter, when he's walking through the desert, you have a choice to leave him or a choice to take him. Regardless of what you pick, there's the same outcome, and that happens so much. It's just more of like your morality
I think they
tick
were
goes
just a
like up or
little
down.
I think it was a little ahead of its time in that regard because this was at the. I don't think this one came out on the Xbox One.
No, no, no. It was Xbox
So,
360.
well, I think it was like to the point where they had ambition, but they just didn't have the ability or the software yet to
Yeah.
make it matter.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they were able to do that, like branching. If you do this, then everything changes down the road. And
Exactly.
so they wanted to give you. That was the whole thing. Is Fable was. I won't say the first because I'm sure I'd get corrected, but like one of the first that was like make a choice, good or evil, and like that affects stuff.
It was the
But
first for console people because computer people were doing it for ages before then. But like on Xbox, that was the first game that gave you choices like that, which was a huge hit.
I like to think of like PC gamers as like the lost gods of gaming, and everybody's like,
They're like
"What is
the
this?" And then Fable came out, and all the console gamers are like, "Oh, it's a message from the old gods. We get to make a choice in this one."
we make choices. I'm gonna be Chicken Chaser.
I loved that name. I hated it as a kid, and then as an adult, I'd be like, "Yeah, you call me a chicken chaser, motherfucker."
I was always Druid. Yeah, through all of them, I was just Druid. They're like, I'm Mr. Druid, hello. And I just love the humor of it. And like, it's based in like this UK world.
I
And just the stuff people say as you walk by is
That
so
was what made
funny.
it. All those little things that just made it like it was so fun.
Oh, I was
It was
talking
so
to
fun.
someone about Fable 2, and they're like, oh my gosh, I remember that game. And when we were talking, we realized like these games and playing through them again, they're held together with like WD 40, some hot glue, and maybe a piece of duct tape.
Oh
They are
yeah.
so easy to break and so easy to bug out. But I think
Oh
that's what's fun too.
yeah. That was what made it just like even back when it first came out, you're like, this is amazing, but you had the feeling of like, is this gonna break today?
And
Like, am I gonna screw it up? Do I have to save it constantly?
I did the excuse me. I did the route of the game where you go to the temple, the Brotherhood of Shadows, and you take the people of sacrifice. But what I
Yes.
did was I amassed this massive, massive group of people. Like, not huge, but like maybe 5 or 6. That's
That's a
pretty big,
lot
right?
for that game.
So I took them and fast traveled right to the Brotherhood place, right? And what ended up happening was when I went there, they all appeared behind me as they do, and I start walking in and I turn around, make sure they're all there, and they copy themselves. So I had 10. I don't know how that worked. And then I sacrificed all of them, and they all got changed into the opposite gender of what they were.
It's hilarious.
And then every time I went back, those people were wandering around. They like never died.
I thought you the Temple of Shadows. I thought that killed them.
Yeah, there's options. They will just outright kill them, but sometimes because you spin that big wheel,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
and the big wheel has a bunch of different things. It's like sometimes they're petrified, sometimes they're shocked to death. Then they're wandering around the rest of the time. And then like all the guys who like were like, the that were switched into women, they're all like trying to hit on me. I don't know. Both times I played, I was evil. Like 2 and 3, I was evil because honestly, those games are fun to be evil in because it's
There's not that much negativity from it. You can still woo anybody if you
yeah,
want.
that like people in the streets would tell me like, "You're such a monster. You've killed so many people."
I like a bad boy though.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what. And I like walk like I married and had a kid in the game, and
Did you resurrect Lady Bowerstone in the second one?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely like married her and got her into that big ass mansion.
Oh, you did? Because
Yeah.
I put my family in that mansion.
That was my one like I think I usually was a good person in most of those games, but that was my one like freak side. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring this chick back from the dead and marry her.
Yeah, and that guy was like, "Oh no, she's falling in love with you. Get out, get out!"
And I think
And
I
I
just
just
shot
left.
him.
Yeah,
I think I killed him. I was like, I ain't taking this.
I was like evil, but I was like, how do I put it? I was evil, but I bought all the property in Fable 2 and 3, right? I bought all the property. So in Fable 2, I only became evil because I just marked the prices at the highest they could be, right? So in Fable 3, I was evil, but all my prices were the lowest. That's where I could still make money. And then it's just like, oh my God, you just killed all those people. But the rent's cheap, so I'm looking the other way.
That's awesome. Big question.
Okay.
Everybody who's ever played Fable 2, and they're all probably youngsters, so like none of them, but did you save your dog at the end of Fable
Oh,
2?
of course.
Okay.
That's the only one that
That's
matters.
the only choice
The
you
other
can
one was like
make.
resurrect all the people in the spot. No,
No one
get a
cares. I
bunch
didn't
of
know them.
gold. I'm like, I run the economy of
Yeah,
Albion at the
really. It's like
moment.
I'm a land baron. I'm richer that I no.
And they were just like, how much gold would you get? And it was like 1 million. I'm like, I'm sitting at 35 million right now.
Yeah, really. It's like I don't the millions. Like I'm good.
If I were to turn on my Xbox right now, pop in, because in Fable 2,
Your game will crash if you have too much gold that it gives you.
yeah,
Or I think there might actually be a limit at some point where it just stops giving you gold.
probably. And I just realized I was about to say something, and I went the thing, and it came up in the mic, and yeah, I gotta be mindful of that. I just noticed that all the sounds that people don't like whenever they're listening to our
Nom,
podcast.
nom, nom, nom.
Oh, especially chewing. That's the worst. Yeah, so all the Fable games I beat Dusk, which was a game, that old first
Dusk.
person shooter that the like a guy I know made.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I remember. I was
Yeah,
like, this sounds familiar. We talked. I do remember
yeah, and
that.
at the very end of the credits, he put for Lavender, which is his daughter's name, and I was just like, "Oh yeah,"
Aw.
I'm like, I hung out with that kid. Like, this is very strange.
1 degree of separation from this guy. I'm here,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it's weird for me to say that because I feel like I'm trying to hop on. Like, oh, I know the guy, but I'm like, I do know him.
No, but moments like that in life, it's like it's just it's surreal. You're like, I played this thing, it's awesome, and then in the credits, you're like, no, I know these people. These aren't faceless names. Like I know
I
them.
know them, and I mean, it's like commercially successful, and he's working on the other game right now, which is Gloomwood, which I haven't got a chance to really
That is a
play yet.
badass name for a game.
It is. It's like this Victorian game that kind of plays like Thief,
Oh,
like
I love
Victorian
Victorian
London.
era games.
Yeah, and you have like weapons, but it's more about sneaking around and stuff. It's like one of those immersive Sims.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then I was thinking about when I saw the name Lavender, I was like, you know what? The last time, like, she was at my parents' house and I was there because, so it was his wife's mom was watching her, and she came over to my parents' house with my parents and my niece, and they were playing, and I had a really nasty, like, ingrown toenail, right?
Oh
So
no.
it was in the bathroom, and no, it wasn't an ingrown toenail. It was a wart. That's right. So there's a wart on the bottom of my toe. That's what I was, and I was putting some medicine on it, and it just, I put the toilet seat down. I sit on there on the toilet seat, and I'm just fixing it, right. And the door's open because I'm not going to the bathroom.
Dr.
Whatever.
Scholl's, ice it out, kill it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I'm sitting there, and she comes walking, and she looks down at me, and she's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I got a wart on my foot. It's pretty gross. I'm putting this medicine on to make it go away." And this kid had this little digital camera that they give her, so like she takes pictures. So
Please tell
she
me.
just picks it up, takes a picture, and goes, "Weird," and then she walks away.
That kid's gonna be a
And
genius.
then later, like talking to the her mom and dad, they were telling me that story. It's like, yeah, we're sitting there going through the pictures, like, oh, they're at Brandon's parents' house, and then
All
they
of a
see that one,
sudden,
and they're like, why? But why is there a picture of your toe on there? I'm like, I was cleaning out, like getting rid of a wart. She walked in, took a picture, and they're like, yeah, it sounds like her.
they didn't even question it. There's like, yeah, that's her.
That's her. I also beat Ion Fury. I beat Pokemon Scarlet, and I'm working through Violet right
Oh, you bought
now.
them both?
Yes.
I got Kate Pokemon Scarlet, and actually, after watching her play like the first little bit of it, I was like, I might actually want to play this one.
It's fun. Here's my stance on it. Here's my stance on Pokemon Scarlet. Here's the official review. Oh, we should do the, hold on, where's my phone? I remember I did this once a long time ago, a 1 minute review. I reviewed it, but I'm gonna give myself 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I'm just gonna ramble on about it. Okay, hold on. I gotta put the timer in. So this is the official It Sure Is a Podcast review of Pokemon Scarlet. And okay, so Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet really deviate from this traditional formula, but there are enough foundation pieces there that people are going to look at it and go, oh, it's the same. It is open world, but you can't catch the Pokemon like you could in Pokemon Arceus. I think the last one I did, no, was for Metroid Dread. That's the one I did this for. Pokemon Arceus was really good. You could catch those just in the wild. You didn't have to go into a battle. You have to still battle these guys. So the game is separated into three chunks. You have the one part where you are battling the, team enemy of the game, then you're trying to win the league, and then you are trying to get these titans and help this guy on this quest with the herbs and spices and getting all this stuff. That quest I really recommend doing because it actually has a point. Honestly, a lot of the gym leaders and a lot of characters I cannot remember at all except for Arvin, who's the guy who is looking for that stuff. And I'm not going to spoil it, but the mechanics are really fun, but the game runs like complete crap. It looks like complete crap, but it is the funnest game I have played. So I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, so is this the, best game I played this year from a big, AAA developer, but also it is the crappiest. It runs like crap. It looks like crap. It's just running on outdated hardware, but also the Pokemon Company isn't really interested in pushing boundaries because they already make so much money. But if you really enjoy Pokemon, it is incredibly fun. I really recommend it because there is freedom. In all the other games that holds your hand, and then the first like 5 minutes of the game, you are in playing and catching, and that is just what I play Pokemon for. The story is uninspired, but the music is amazing. It slaps. Did it! That was what I wanted to do. The music in it's really good though. Like Pokemon music has always been like good background noise, but it never stimulated the brain, if that makes sense. But this stuff is like, oh, it's the quietest character in the game. Oh, her song's gonna go hard and slap the hardest.
Yeah.
And that's how it usually goes. All right, there was your review of Pokemon Scarlet. It is very fun. I do enjoy it.
I will probably at some point I'll end up playing it.
And it's just it gives you that freedom that you can do your own thing. But I know people love to. When it first came out, everyone's like, it runs like crap, and all the fans are like,
I watched Kate
yeah.
play it. It didn't look like it was running that badly.
Yeah, it's not that badly. Just people look at them and go, "Oh, you're a huge corporation. You are like the biggest grossing thing on the planet. Why don't you put more time into your games?" But a lot of people don't know. Only it's less than 10%. It's a very low percentage of like the Pokemon Company makes money off of their games. They make all their money off of
the
everything
amount of
else.
money that goes into R&D, then shipping it, then making it, like all that stuff. Yeah, the returns are minimal compared to you can make a shirt for 30 cents and sell it for $30.
Oh yeah. And like all the accessories of Pokemon and just things related to that, that's where they
all
make
the
their
game
money.
guides, yeah, all the
The
fun
TV
stuff.
show, that's where they make the money. The games,
Ash is
nothing.
leaving.
I know.
I don't care.
I don't care either, but
I only ever watched the original series when he lost in the first big one. I watched I think a couple episodes of the new season, but it's kind of over it by that point.
Yeah,
the first season was like I don't know what it is about me, but that was it. The original season, and then I had Yellow, and I could never beat Yellow because I was too young and too stupid to play it. But like that was like my introduction to Pokemon. Except Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, those ones were awesome. But
yeah.
All this newer stuff, never cared. Have not played a Pokemon game since Yellow.
Ash is leaving. They're retiring the kid that's been 12 for over like 25 years.
Yeah, that motherfucker aged well.
He really did. And yeah, it's nice to see them go and do something different, but the shows were never, ever, ever interesting.
Well, it was the same thing every time.
I mean, the Pokemon games are the same thing every time. It just total.
Yeah,
but
I liked that though. They had their only sin was getting it right the first time.
That is true.
And it's like, but like, how do you make it different? People liked battling things. They liked catching things.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's like they went open world, but at the end of the day, they're still only go from point A to point B to find this gym leader. And like,
yeah, and that's I do like that's how they separated the.
Unless you want to go into like a mature audience where like you start hunting Pokemon with guns or something. Like I don't.
They will never do that. The closest they got to that was a DS game called Pokemon Conquest, where it was kind of set in like feudal Japan, and everyone had one Pokemon, and they would actually like fight each. It was like a great Pokemon war that was occurring.
That's hilarious.
And it was just they're all like duking it out, and they're just I don't remember much from the game, but that was like the most mature it ever got. But this game gets a little mature at the end when it just you find out some origins of things and there's some mysteries that are tied up. But it's not that mature, but you know what I mean.
They could also have a game where you play as a Pokemon.
They have that. It's Mystery Dungeon.
On what system?
3DS. There was one for Switch.
Oh, screw that.
There was one for Switch. Yeah, you didn't even let me finish. As soon as I said it, you were like, screw that. I'm like,
screw your handheld shit.
Right? Yeah, there you can play that. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
Is it still turn based?
No, it's a dungeon crawler. So like you go into these dungeons, and every step you take is like considered a like turn-based turn, and then other
Oh.
Pokemon move too.
No, I want like open world. You're romping around as like an Onyx, and then you button mash
I
and
think you
fight and
I think it
level
would just
up and
I think you're
evolve.
thinking of something like a Pokemon simulator almost, where you just live as the Pokemon and just like do whatever you want.
Yeah, you have to avoid capture by trainers and
Yes.
like fight other Pokemon in the wild and level up. And I don't know. That would be cool. That'd be cool as hell.
That would be really cool. And I think I beat one other game, but I honestly can't remember. Yeah, it probably wasn't that important. Oh, it's Space Marine. I'm looking at my thing there. I beat Space Marine, but I beat that before. But it was just nice. I felt accomplished beating some video games.
I never want to like I'm considering replaying or not replaying but going back to my file on Skyrim, and I was like, I don't know what weapon I want to use, and then I think about like Arcane and Space Marine, and I was like, I could use a giant hammer.
Hammer.
I
Giant hammer.
I never used to be like I always hated them when I was younger. I was like, no, blades, one handed or two handed, like that's the only way to go. And the older I get, I was like, man, a giant war axe or a giant hammer sounds kind of fun too.
Yeah, in all my Fable playthroughs, I only just played with a hammer. It just ended up that did the most
It's just so
damage.
fun. I think it was the turning point for me, and this is how nerdy and stupid I actually am. So you all can feel free to make fun of me for this. But I was at work years ago. I worked in an injection molding area back then. So basically, it's just giant slabs of metal that you put molten like plastic into, and it molds,
Yeah,
opens up,
yeah,
drops out,
okay.
yada yada. Well, I was trying to put one back together, and because we didn't have the right setup, I had to like push it back together. I couldn't get it to go, so I just grabbed a giant. It was like a deadfall hammer, so it's rubber, so it doesn't actually hurt
Oh, yeah, yeah,
anything.
yeah.
But like, so I just picked it up and I was just sitting there like beating on this thing for like a half hour trying to get it to go back together. And then in my head, I was like, is this what it feels like to use a hammer in a game? I was like, this is kind of cool. You're just like, wham,
Why is
wham.
it with hammers? It is just the most simple, like primal joy you receive
Do you
hitting
want to know
something.
something else that's sad? Is that's also when I was like, maybe I wouldn't make a good mage if I find this so satisfying.
Like you are
I was
you are
like,
right. You are
I was
right.
like, I kind of just like beating the shit out of this piece of metal with this hammer. This is kind of fun.
I honestly think in any fantasy game, I think that's why like the warrior class is always the base go-to, because I think there's just a primal enjoyment of taking something like that, a blunt instrument, and hitting it off of
That's always
something.
been my best class in a game, though.
Yeah.
Like, no matter the game, and I'm sure it's also probably like geared towards that because they're usually the simplest mechanics. It's either get a bunch of health and don't die, or do a bunch of damage and don't die.
Oh, definitely.
But like, I don't know. That's always all the Dragon Ages. That was always my easiest class. I had to restart Dragon Age 3 because we're not going to talk about that today, I promise. But you got that shield. You
Hmm.
could get that extra armor on top of yours. I got bored because I had so much of that I couldn't die. I was like, this isn't fun because I just know I won't die.
What class? Let me ask you this: what class are you playing in Dragon Age 2 right now?
Rogue.
Okay.
So I normally do warrior in the first one, rogue in the second, and then I do like a mage in the third.
Have you ever done the mage in the second one?
Yes,
That
because you get to be a Jedi if you do that.
once you level up enough, but the boss battle against who is that guy's name?
Which act? First, second, or third?
I think is in the second act, or does it lead into the Kunari leader?
That's the end of the second act. Yeah, he's the final boss in the second act.
Right. What's his?
The Aeroshock.
Aeroshock. That's right. Mage. Have you fought him as a mage?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough at times.
No. I will stand on this hill. That is like completely broken. Like you have to kite him
Whoa.
around the pillars, and you hit him twice, and then you book it to the other pillar, and he like keeps following you.
See,
But the second he touches you, you're done.
I was a force mage, so I just pulled him to the center of the room
Oh.
and then just dropped fireballs on him. I laughed. I was like, this is
That is not how it turned out for me. I had to
force
just
mage was see, you know what I had trouble with is I'm already lying because I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but the high dragon,
yeah.
that was hard for me as a mage.
Yeah, certain things as a mage is really complicated, and you're like, oh, my other, companions will pick up the slack. They never do.
They never do.
They
But
never do.
I do enjoy I bring Anders with me because he loves to cast haste, so he's move fast.
Yeah,
And as a rogue dual wielding,
you're already fast,
it's like it's comical how fast your dude's just like sitting there. It's like anime style, like 10,000 cuts.
and it's just the base enemy.
It
You
is. They're dead in like seconds. It's
and
hilarious.
you didn't need to use that, but you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, I
It's just fun.
it
I
is.
also like somewhat planned out what I do, and I have strategies with the rogue now, which I never
Hmm.
did when I was younger. But I was like, oh, if you stack this and this, it makes this like 10 times better. And I was like, this is
That is the positive of going back to games like that you play as a kid, because now that you're adult and you're cognitive functioning with games, you understand more instead of like, oh, I'm gonna click that because
I,
it's bright yellow.
yeah, I could never play as a rogue in that one. I died constantly. I think it took me the entire first act to level up so much that I was finally like, okay, now this is fun. But it's like, no, you just need to not be a complete idiot.
That's wow, yeah. You said it right there. Eric said it here first, folks. You put on a shirt, quote it, and put Eric. That line in Eric's like, you just don't have to. You
Just don't be a complete
don't
idiot.
be a complete idiot. That's it. Just don't be a complete idiot.
I know, but
Boom.
when I play the third one, I'm really struggling about what I want to play as. Like, I beat my one complete playthrough. I was a rogue,
Yeah.
and it was a blast because I did everything you're not supposed to do as a rogue, and it worked for me.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
was, I did no stealth. I had all these explosions. I had all the people aggroing on me, and it just worked.
I love that.
But they have the specialization class where you just throw grenades and they just explode everywhere. And I was like, this isn't a rogue to me. This is like chaos, but I love it and it works.
Yeah, I think maybe the classification for rogue leans more on like also using like different types of gadgets and
Yeah, and
things like
that's
that.
I had the one where you could like plant a flag, and if you like die, you go back to that area with
Yeah,
full health, and you can run back in. Like I don't know. I'm tempted to be a rogue again just because it was so much fun.
rogues are just the absolute. It's the best. If
Plus,
you're into that, I'm more of a warrior and or mage. I don't know. Rogue never.
see
I'm not the
again,
roguish type.
we've talked about it before. I've made that huge switch. I was always like mage, 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 and now the older I get, I was like, I don't. You can be tactful and you can have fun and do stuff as a warrior and a rogue. So I'm exploring that option more. I'm
You're,
class curious now.
you're class curious.
I am.
I mean, that's awesome that you're class curious, because I got some games during the Steam winter sale, and I've been class curious also.
It's just fun
Playing
to like.
different games where it's like, all right, this is what it's set up for. Like, you have to play that class. I'm like, I'm gonna play this class. I'm gonna be the mage person. I'm gonna be the gun person instead of the hammer person.
Except in the Dark Souls games, I don't think I'll ever change my class on those.
No.
I think I'm actually going to restart because I still haven't beat Elden Ring. I actually haven't played it in forever. I think I'm just going to go back to my tank style. Just shield, probably medium-ish armor, but a heavy-ass shield and a sword that I can just do as much damage as possible with. Everybody's like, that's boring to play as. And I was like, I don't care. If it works for me and I get to experience the world and I get to womp on some shit,
Yeah.
that's all I need.
Why are you worried about what other people think, especially with Elden Ring?
I
Now I'm
have low
thinking,
self-esteem and I get validation through others.
oh shit, that's too real. But I definitely understand that. Oh, I also beat Nier Replicant. That was another game I beat.
I don't know if I've heard of that.
It's a very long discussion that we just won't go into. Not bad. It's a very, yeah. We won't go into that.
So, do we want to get to our main topic for today? Our Lord and Savior?
As soon as we take a break, real quick, we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll get on to the topic. Hey gamer, I'm just taking a second to check in on you. You see, the last time your mom and I were hanging out, she may have subtly dropped the hint that you're not really sure how to support the podcast. And honestly, when I walked out of her room only wearing a bath towel and we locked eyes, I could see it on your face. There's quite a few ways you can support the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at sure_podcast, over on Instagram, it sure is a podcast, YouTube, and TikTok. It sure is a podcast. That's all you gotta look up. And then TikTok is for you Zoomers out there, because I post some real stupid shit there. For Eric and I, you listening is probably just one of the best things in the world. But if you do want to support us, those are ways you can. Also, just tell a friend that, hey, we listened to a terrible podcast, you should hop in on this. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, whatever one that makes you give us money, you can go on over to www.buymeacoffee.com/ISIA podcast. There you can drop us a few bucks and be on your way. Like I said earlier, Just you guys listening is really enough for us. We're back. Break has occurred. So Eric, yeah, you wrote down notes for this. So please, like, you be the one in charge of like leading this, because this is the other guy that we always talk about in the podcast. And
So
over our
we
break, there was like some awesome news, and maybe Brandon accidentally predicted something a long time
and
ago.
well, we're gonna start with the bad news first because I want to get the bad stuff out of the way, and then we're gonna go into the good stuff and the hopeful future.
Yeah, that The
Okay,
Witcher Bloodlines was kind of stupid.
didn't watch it yet.
Oh, it's
It's kind of stupid.
kind of stupid, but
Well, Henry Cavill's not in it, so
there's a dwarf that's in it, a female dwarf that is the best character in that. It like she makes it worth it to watch. So I do recommend. It's not terrible. It's not bad. It's not good. You're just
well,
kind of
they're
like,
not. Does it even follow the lore of?
no,
I don't know if I want to watch it then.
no.
I'm
I'm dead serious. I would watch it just for the dwarf girl.
all right. I'm gonna watch it for the dwarf.
It's
girl,
4
but-
episodes.
Oh wow,
that's
yeah.
it. It's just a limited thing.
I realistically I'm gonna watch it regardless, but I'm not even a purist as far as like you have to stick to every last tiny little detail in this world. But what they're doing is just not. It's not cool.
Nah.
Um,
All right.
But we're gonna go back. So
Bad news first.
So everybody knows this has been out for a while, but Henry Cavill's leaving The Witcher. They're
Yes.
replacing him with
Chris Hemsworth, whatever, his brother.
Liam Hemsworth.
Daniel.
I thought it was Liam Hemsworth.
Douglas.
Oh,
I'm just picking names at the moment and throwing them at you.
So
gaslighting you to like, no, that's a Duncan
I'll probably
Hemsworth.
give. So obviously, I'm going to watch season 3 because Henry Cavill's in it. It's his last season, and I won't. And it's awesome, even if it doesn't follow the timeline and the lore. I'll watch it just because I want to, and it's been cool so far.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
I'll give season 4 a try with the new guys, The Witcher. I don't think it's going to make it past season 4. I think they've gone too far off the rails. Not enough people know about The Witcher outside of like most of the people who are going to watch on Netflix are the gamers. This is a big worldwide known game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've strayed too far. They're going to lose too many viewers for that. Then they're going to do a character change, which always throws people off in a show, no matter how diehard your fan base is.
Yeah, I'd rather you just cancel the show or
do a reboot.
Or a reboot, or narratively have a reason. But I mean, that wouldn't work for Witcher. But I mean, some shows, like, how do I put it?
I could, if you're gonna break from reality, quote unquote. If you're gonna break from the lore that much, have him get cursed that he gets smaller or something. I don't know. Do something stupid.
He gets transformed.
He gets blown up and then pieced back together, and that's what he looks like. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like Doctor Who. They have a way of like, instead of having the one doctor be the same doctor the whole time in universe in the show, every so often he'll regenerate and become, it's still him, but it's him or her.
Form.
It's just a new form. Like that. Cool. You've set up in the world, in the lore, a reason why this person would look different. And that's fine. So if like you have someone that's only there for one season, then disappears, lore wise, it's totally fine because you've already set that up. But how would you do that for Witcher? I don't even know that.
So I just they're probably not even going to address it. They're
no,
gonna be like, everybody who's going to watch will know. And
I still think, like, looking back on it, it's enjoyable. I think it's just at first it was like, wow, this is pretty accurate. This kind of follows it. And then once they got, everybody watching it, then they veered off to make it more easily digestible for general public.
And you can't do everything because obviously you can do more in a video game than you can in a show. Because you can have supporting, like, read this journal entry or here's this character's bio. Like, you can give other ways to explain the backstory and everything. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't like what they're doing. Whatever. I'll still give it a shot because it's fun, but I don't care in the sense that if you're going to try to do something, but try to stick by at least the basic rules so you're not throwing too many people out, but you're also going to kill it. Like, I was pumped for this because it reinvigorated everybody's love for The Witcher. Hopefully that would give it more steam for games or movies or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're just going to kill that momentum. Like, look at Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power destroyed everybody's, like,
enthusiasm about it.
Yeah. Like, I was like, we're going to get more games. Maybe we'll get more shows. Maybe we'll get remakes. And they did so poorly that, like, I think Lord of the Rings might be dead for another decade or two.
You know what? Just think about it this way, and I was thinking about it, you know, that we always like, how do I put it? We always compare things to something else because that's just what humans do. And when you compare, I mean, comparison sometimes brings motivation, sometimes brings inspiration, but also comparing can be a very
And
negative thing because you're just trying to compare it for that one thing you really like. I'm not
so
I'm not defending because I haven't watched the show, but I've just thrown that out there in general. Like,
So I'm gonna say this is a great thing for both The Witcher and The Rings of Power. As far as so, The Witcher, I agree with you. At first, I was like, "This is bullshit" because I was comparing it. But when looking at it objectively, it is a good show, and I probably continue to watch it.
yeah, it's entertaining.
Rings of Power, objectively, just a shitty show. Even in not comparing it to how badly they butchered everything,
Yeah,
just absolutely fucking everything about the lore, they stuck to nothing beyond names of characters.
right.
Just objectively, the show I didn't think was that good.
Yeah,
I really tried to watch it like I'm not gonna compare it to this like godhead of my nerddom, but
right.
um, but seriously, I didn't think the acting was that good. I didn't think the storyline was. It was way too predictable and like it followed a normal narrative. And again, if you're gonna follow a story that's already written, I guess that's one thing. But
Right.
I don't know. I just
So,
it just it wasn't
well, it wasn't for you. Wasn't
it
for you.
wasn't good. There wasn't enough. They tried to make these fight scenes like all cool and it was a bad mix of everything.
And that sometimes
And it
happens.
was
And I'm like not trying to defend it, but I am trying to go into this new year really trying to focus on seeing both sides of the fence and just realizing I don't like that, but it's okay that I don't like that because it just isn't geared for me. Because I know there's some people's like, yeah, the show was pretty good. I'm like, I heard some bad things about it, and they're like,
well, and that's
yeah,
again just objectively. I thought the show itself just wasn't
like it
that
just wasn't a
good.
good show.
Yeah,
Just
like I thought they had bad acting, they had poor timing, all like all around. The only reason it even came out half as good as it did was because it was Amazon and they poured an ungodly amount of. That's the other thing that annoyed me. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They could solve world fucking hunger with the budget for the show, and instead, this is the garbage that came out. Like, are you serious?
why would you not share? Why would you solve a world problem if that means that would get rid of that, world problem? And then how would we make money off of that world problem if we got rid of it?
I guess the thing is, you don't. They already don't make money off of it. So if they did it, more people would be alive to buy their products, and they'd have a larger labor force dependent on their ability to give them food.
Uh,
They're doing world domination all wrong.
yeah,
Y'all could
they
hire
really are.
me. You will rule the world in like 4 months.
Oh my gosh,
I
I
know you
actually would
already
believe that.
do. They
Especially
already.
with you, you have this like dark, cynical plotting side.
You have no idea. Like
Like I really feel like it's somewhere in your
subjugation.
house.
Subjugation is not how you rule people. It is manipulation. You make it their idea to follow you. And that's why everybody's like, the American government's tricking you. I'm like, no, they're not. They're too stupid to do it that way.
Dang. Now that yeah, you definitely somewhere in your house you have this tiny room, this secret room where you like push in a code in the wall, and then you like just sit in your chair and just brood, and you're like planning
See,
things that
you
like will
say
never.
that, but the funny thing is when we move, I want to get not a mansion, but I want to get a big enough house that has like a nook somewhere that I can put like a bookcase in front of, and I want it to be my secret brooding room.
Yes. Where was I recently that there was actually a bookcase? Oh, yeah, yeah, it was my friend's house. She came back, she went to like basic training and she was gone for like the bit and then she came back and I'm just like, "Hey, I see you're back in town. Do you want to catch up?" "Yeah, sure." So stopped at her house to just go pick her up and we're just gonna go to eat. And I'm sitting there and she's like, "Yeah, I just got to go to my room and grab some real quick." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll just wait here in the hallway." And then she just goes to a bookcase, like you're saying, and opens it and goes in. And I'm like, "Okay, all right. One, I know that's your room, and I'm not trying to invade your privacy, but you just Anne Franked that, okay? Like, like you got to show me this." So we go back there, and I peek in there, and she's like, "Yeah, it's my room." I'm like, that is the coolest thing. If someone breaks in, no one's gonna look behind a bookcase.
Yeah, everybody's like, that's for rich people in video games.
Dude,
Like, it's not.
I would have a decoy room that looks like I lived in there, and people are like, "Oh, he's not home," and then I'm sitting there, and we've talked about this before. I hear,
You're just sitting behind the bookcase, like, come on.
I was sitting there when you did the shotgun motion, like the cocking of it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, how would I cock a sword? Because I was thinking getting my Geralt sword, the silver
You're
sword.
just standing there with a sword, like, come get me, motherfucker.
And the door just opens and the da 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 da, and I'm just spinning around trying to hit this guy. Yeah, that's how that would work out. I would love to do that with like the door over there. Like find a way to, I don't know, put my entire computer thing on like a swivel and it just goes in front of the door. So it's just like, is this just one room? And it's just like I'm behind there, like preparing. How Witchers, they'll take their potions before they fight. I just have bath salt and crack.
You're just, let's go.
And I don't even open it.
Their eyes turn yellow, and the cop's like, "Oh my god, is he a Witcher?" And the other one's like, "You idiot, that's jaundice. He destroyed his liver."
And I explode through that wall over there. Don't even open the door. Just boom, in a perfect silhouette, like Looney Tunes of my body. And I'm like, prepare to die. And the guy's like, you don't even have anything.
He's like, you're naked with a sword.
And you're naked with a sword. And I proceed to start helicoptering my dick at him. Just spinning it as I approach him.
Whirlwind Glyph.
Oh, shit. So you were talking about Amazon. So what is the Henry Cavill Amazon related
Lord
news?
and Savior.
Our nerd king.
Well, so he's not in The Witcher. He's also not Superman anymore.
Yeah,
He did a cameo in Black Adam.
Yeah.
Like at the very end, and it was this whole big thing. The studio told him, they're like, yo, once after the release date, like you can start telling people, because obviously you're gonna make the cameo at the end.
Yeah.
And so he went on to all of his socials and stuff and was like, hey guys, I'm back as Superman. Like, I'm super blessed. I can't wait to do this. The Rock, who was a big fan of like the DC comics and stuff, I guess, he was like, his whole thing is, I'm going to come in as Black Adam. We're going to set up this whole universe, like rip off the Marvel thing. And like, we're going to do a big fight, Black Adam versus Superman. And like, that was supposed to be their goal.
Yeah.
Black Adam flopped at the box office and Henry Cavill got fired as Superman. Because they're like, we don't want to follow that canon. We want to focus on a younger Superman. You can't play this role. You're no longer Superman. And he's like, yo, like 2 weeks ago, you just told me to reveal to the world that I'm Superman again, and now you're going to fire me?
Dude, DC just...
It's because there's two new people at the helm of DC, and because DC's faltered so badly, they're rearranging everything. First off, so Henry Cavill's out as Superman. Ezra Miller's a fucking weirdo and a creep, so I'm pretty sure he's fired from being the Flash.
Oh, yeah.
I think he diddles little kids and like kidnaps them and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard some just stories about that.
There was some crazy stuff going on. So he's out. I'm pretty sure Gal Gadot, because I saw something, I don't think she's going to be Wonder Woman after her next film.
Oh, she's doing another one?
I don't actually know. I saw they did like the original Justice League stuff, and the only one left, I think, was Jason Momoa. Like they had like kind of like grayed out all the other actors, and it was just Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And I was like, that's like, why? Like the only reason people kind of watch this is because they love these people. Your movies aren't that good. A new actor's not going to make it. I mean, in Ezra Miller's case, obviously, fire his ass and put him in jail.
Seriously.
But yeah, like Henry Cavill is physically Superman. He's massive. He looks like Clark Kent.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
not gonna find a better Superman than
you're
him.
You're not. And that might be like bias on my end because I love the dude.
But yeah, but I mean,
no, totally.
Even just taking a step back, like he's already played Superman.
Yeah.
Even if you want to do a soft reboot and have it like change the lore, just let him be Superman.
I mean, your movies.
They're like younger Superman. I was like, Superman was a jacked teenager. What does it matter?
Yeah, I think maybe since probably new management, they're just restructuring everything, and they're probably going to go. If it's a younger Superman, they're probably going to try to gauge it toward a younger audience compared to
that's stupid.
That is stupid, but I'm just saying what I'm just saying.
Younger audiences don't work unless it's a very specific formula and you've cultivated that image, like Pokemon.
Yeah,
everybody knows Pokemon is all ages friendly.
Yeah.
So you could be 3 years old or you could be 90 and it's still fun. Superman and DC and all that is not for a younger audience.
It's more geared toward a more mature style of
I
the
would say
Marvel universe
teenager-ish, like 16, 17,
and
maybe would
up.
be, yeah. Because, like, young,
Marvel is kind of they've become the
they're
like
trying to be more, but even they've gotten a little bit darker and more violent.
in some of their shows, but like I really believe at the end of the day they're really focused on just it's like a everyone can watch this and enjoy.
Yeah.
DC, I think their movies were better when they just went like this is my vision, it's not connected to anything. They're trying to do the universe thing and they're just not being consistent. Even if it was bad, as long as it was consistent, it would be more engaging than
Hmm.
every time I turn on a Superman movie. Is this the one with Henry Cavill or is this the one with the guy in the wheelchair? Is this the I forget his name.
Christopher Reeves?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Or is it which Superman is it? I don't know.
And that's what
I
I
also
don't
really
know.
enjoyed the Batman movie with Twilight Boy.
Oh, this was a huge debate, and I'm pretty sure it's just a generational thing because a lot of older people, so basically people who are new to Batman movies, like younger, loved it, and anybody who had the Christian Bale Batman hated it. But
I
just like anybody who grew up, like my first real intro to Batman movies was the Christian Bale series.
yeah, yeah.
There were other movies around and I had seen them, but I didn't really care that much. That was like the style of movie I was used to, the cinematography, all that. So I loved that Batman series, and I was like, oh, all these older ones are trash. And like my parents and everybody
Are you
who's
talking about
older,
the Tim Burton ones?
maybe?
Like the old Batman Forever, Batman
Yeah.
Return. Those are awful. They are just I hate those.
The one with
I don't
like
like Tim Burton movies though, so I'm like,
Michael Keaton.
yeah, George
I'm
Clooney at one point.
Yeah, I think his was universally hated.
I
I
think
think he
George
apologized for that
I think
acting.
George Clooney is universally hated.
I love George Clooney.
Okay, I think George Clooney is universally hated, but except for one person. There you go. You feel special now?
A lot of people like George Clooney. I think it's because they want to fuck him. But
Oh yeah. All those
anyway,
movie stars that are attractive, you're like, I like him I like Jason Momoa just because he's attractive.
no, he's funny. I like Jason Momoa because he's funny.
I haven't seen him in anything funny.
Watch Aquaman. Trash movie.
Dude,
I will love it forever.
We went and saw Aquaman for your birthday. I was there. Yeah.
Did
in
we
the
watch that in the theater?
Yeah. That was in the before times.
I have no memory of this
And
place.
we went and got like that Japanese steakhouse afterwards. Man, you're a real piece of shit. You know that?
No, I just
remember
have
this-
no memory.
I remember this vividly. And
I can promise you, if it was for my birthday, I didn't pick a Japanese steakhouse to go to then.
I don't know.
Like, Kate was probably just like, hey, we're going to go see this, and then we're going to go out for this afterwards. I'm like, I guess.
I guess. All right. Yeah, it was like in the first, like, it was a long time ago. I think it was before you guys got married.
If this was more than 2 years ago, I will not remember.
All right. Yeah, then that's why you're not remembering.
This is not a slight on, I have no memory. I will get Alzheimer's when I'm older. And like,
yeah.
a lot of people are like, that's not funny. That's not a joke. Like, I
It's-
have no memory.
It runs in my family. Like, it's rampant. So,
I
I'm in the
can't-
same boat where it's like, it's going to happen.
Kate asked me to yesterday. This is not a like. She asked me to bring the laundry downstairs so she could
Yeah.
separate it and start it yesterday before I left for work. I said okay. Went downstairs, put on my shoes, and left the house. Completely forgot to like.
Dude, that's what I do.
Seconds later,
I'll like try to set something out over here, and then I'll be like, I need to set that out before I go to work. And I'm standing there at the fridge. I could just pull out the ground beef, put it in the sink so it can defrost all day, right?
yeah,
I'm like, I need to do that. And I do the same thing. I put my shoes on and leave.
and like it. But that's short term. Long term memory, it's bad. I do not have
All right.
good memory.
So I did see Aquaman. It wasn't.
It was goofy, and like that's what I said. Is everybody? If you look at it objectively, it's probably not that great of a movie, but the effects were cool. I thought Jason Momoa was hilarious in it.
I do like the Aquaman. They went with like the Aqua Bro, like that kind of style.
He's just like a goofy, like
he's just Aqua Bro, man.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. Plus, have you ever seen the remake of Conan the Barbarian?
That one was solid. It was just
I
a dumb action
love
movie.
it. Well, yeah, but I love dumb action movies.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love John Wick.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's just
It's just
dumb
it's just
action movie.
Keanu Reeves killing people. But
Mhm.
all right. Anyway, we'll get back to Henry Cavill.
Yeah, so Henry Cavill.
So he's not Superman, so he got
not
screwed
Superman.
over. So he's not going to be The Witcher, and he's not going to be Superman. Two of, I would argue, like
His
what
favorite
he is
things.
famous for.
Yeah, yeah.
So that sucks, and everybody's like, "Well, what's he gonna do? Like, what's all this stuff?" Like, there were
Mm-hmm.
some rumors, and I don't know if I'm gonna not believe them until they have proof because I
Right.
am a little bit of an asshole, and I love Henry Cavill. I guess some people said he was being a little bit kind of like shitty, like overly shitty to some of the people there about not following the source material
About like in what
in The
Superman in which?
Witcher.
Well, I mean, as a Witcher fan, he's justified to do that. I pull up my like, here's your justification card.
Supposedly, this
Like
is
maybe like a little too far,
well, I think it was like to the women. I think they said he was like being real shitty,
huh?
but I was also like, I don't I didn't know how to take it because it almost seemed like an obvious smear campaign.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is also like, I never want to be like, just be quiet. You're just complaining because you're what? Like, I don't ever want to be
Oh,
that person.
definitely.
But that's why I was like, but at the same time, I was like, but it's not like he has a history of this, or so. Anyway, my heart was broken because he's not The Witcher and he's not Superman. But
But
there is a light at the end of the tunnel because I think it's confirmed that he is trying to do a Warhammer 40,000 series.
and I
And I
remember when
am,
we talked about it,
yeah,
and I was sitting there. I'm like, you
because
know
he's
what, he
such a
would do
big
it.
Warhammer fan. We're
Yeah.
like, well,
And I think Amazon Studios is going to try to pick up the. I know you roll your
talk about
head.
people killing the lore, but hopefully he'll go in and that'll be like, maybe he'll be like, hey, I want creative control or something.
Rumor has it that he's going to like be producing it and being a part of it too, like
The
in the show.
the
And
other thing that's good about this is Warhammer, because you did the whole big Warhammer lore.
yeah,
It's not like there's a consistent story either. There's like that book of like concrete rules, but as long as you follow that, you can
exactly.
do whatever story you want.
Yeah,
Because it's such a universe spanning thing, you can have it be whatever.
like
So,
the new Dark Tide game. Um, they created an entire planet just for that game because for what they were trying to do, they didn't really have a planet that was. But it was totally okay because the rule book is followed. Everything, like how people interact, how you're expected to do things, it makes sense in the world. So it makes sense. Like you're like, oh, this is a planet they made up, but I can accept it and put my disbelief aside because you followed all the rules of like this is how things look, this is how people act, this is how
mhm.
all that stuff. So as long as it's follows that, I mean, and I know that the Games Workshop, that's this like the studio that kind of like manages and watches after the Warhammer thing. They're real protective of their product. So
I mean, I would want to be too, because if you give that much creative freedom, you want to make sure it can be unique, but it still
yeah,
it has to be believable in the sense of that world.
yes,
So,
yes,
I mean, I love it when you add new stuff to a world. Like that's what makes it that's I think how you keep your product going. That's how you make it better is you do add to it. New stuff isn't bad. It just has to be um
consistent
the continuity of it has to be there. Yeah, consistent. It has to exist inside the realm of that world.
consistency. That's all we need is just consistency.
Except for Space Marine, you could literally just let me kill hordes of goblins and then demons with that giant hammer, and I'll be happy. Just make it a 40-hour game instead of a 20-hour game.
Oh my, that's way. After going through the Fable games and like how many hours you have to put into like get
I
your
am
enjoyment out of it,
at
I'm sitting there like I need something short. I need something I can beat in like five
I'm at
hours.
like 40 some hours now on Dragon Age 2,
Uh
and
huh.
I've been playing it for a while, but I probably put a solid, I'd say 10 to 15 hours in over the New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was I'm gonna sit here. We're trying dry January as best we can. So we're not gonna drink. So that weekend was like, I gotta finish all the alcohol in my house. I'm just gonna sit here, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna have fun.
So you're just running around your house, just
I
drinking
didn't
all the
get like
bottles.
blackout drunk that I sat there, but I was like, I'm not like right now I'm back on. I'm trying to eat a little better as and Kate doesn't listen to this, so I can say I had to stop at Country Fair on the way here because I didn't get a chance to eat.
Right.
So I grabbed a breakfast sandwich, which I felt guilty about. So if
Right.
I can possibly later today, I'm going to try to get my last at least a mile in on like the elliptical or something.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it's nice enough out to run.
It won't be.
I only got 3 miles in earlier this week, so
I mean, it's still good. I
well,
mean, it's better than nothing.
we
It's
we
better than
we're,
nothing.
we're gonna get back to Henry Cavill.
Well, what
'Cause
else
I
is there to
wanted-
talk about?
Well, I was going to talk about my running real quick.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying about Henry Cavill. What
Oh
else?
yeah, there's really isn't much.
There isn't.
I guess
It's just he
he got
do a
canned
Warhammer
from a
show.
bunch of stuff. Well, that's not fair. He quit one, and then he got unjustly fired from another.
Yeah.
Also, fuck you, James Gunn. He's the dude who did. He's one of the new co-heads of the DC studio, who's in charge of like all that stuff. But he's
Okay.
also the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
I loved the first one. I thought the second one wasn't that good, and then the third one I think is the last one they're all in. And I don't know if he's directing that one or not.
I've kind of all right. Remember when you said earlier about Pokemon and how the first season that was it.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
that is me. As soon as we ended with End War and stuff, that was it. Marvel was done for me, anyways.
It's getting
because there's an Iron Man. Did I hear right? There's an Iron Man 4.
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be an Iron Man 4,
And
so
it's
I'm
like
sure it's gonna be
Tony's-
before he dies. Is my guess because he's dead. I don't think they can bring him back.
Well, all right. Let me bring this up, and this is why. Let me find it. This game, this piece of shit right here. I was just going through my games and seeing like, what do I even play anymore? I don't know. It's Bayonetta 3, right? I like Bayonetta 1, like Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 3. They go with their narrative, and they're like, hey, guess what? Multiverse. I do not like multiverse stories like that.
I don't either. You fracturing the timeline is always a risky move.
Yeah.
Because
and I know Marvel did it. And time travel. If you add time travel and or multiple dimensions into your media, whatever it is, you can literally do anything. And I really think that removes a lot of the stakes and
that's what killed the X-Men franchise for me.
Oh yeah, like going back.
I never saw that Days of Future Past or whatever, but supposedly that's when their universe fractured, and that's how they brought in all these new characters. And I was like, I'm out. I liked the original trilogy. I thought it was good. I realized that my hate for Hugh Jackman came from me being jealous of him.
But he's come back as in Deadpool 3.
Yeah. I've
cool.
come full circle. I actually really like Hugh Jackman as an actor. I just realized growing up, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's ripped and he gets to be Wolverine.
And he's hot.
Why can't I be that? It's because I'm an asshole eating Taco Bell as I play 12 hours of a video game.
I was going to say. Yeah, but you're making steps toward fixing that because you're saying, like, I'm going to be running. I'm going to be more consistent on this stuff. Like, this morning, I was super ambitious. I got everything cleaned up here. I went to the gym, came home and showered all before you got here.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's so I'm doing a half marathon in July.
Cool.
Which is a monumental task for me. And so because we did a event here that they do, it's an annual thing.
Yeah.
It's a 10-mile run with obstacles.
Right.
And I've done very poorly 2 years in a row. And this year I was very disappointed in myself with it.
But also remember you went to it when other people just sat there or went and all right.
Oh, yeah, there's other people who walked it, and I was on pace. So my goal for this past time we did it was to finish in 3 hours or less. And now this is, I go in knowing full well I can't do all the obstacles. Some of them are just beyond my capability, and I was cool with that. I was I want to do roughly what I did last year, but I just want to finish faster. And I was on pace to finish in, I think, 2.5 hours. I did the first 5 miles and all those obstacles. I did that in like an hour and 15 minutes.
That's really good.
I was very proud of myself. And then the second half of it is a lot of like sand running.
Sand running's the worst.
Well, it killed me. I finished in like 3.5 hours, I think. I was pissed.
I was giggling at you said I want to finish faster.
In that respect, I don't think I can.
I can't go any faster than half a second.
Yeah. I've already broken the speed of sound. What more do you want? But no, so after that, me and some of the guys at work, who are a couple of them are already fairly fit, they're active. One of them did the event in like the super time trial, like the elite thing they call it or whatever.
Yeah.
He came in. I think he wasn't top 10. I think he was like 12th or something.
I mean, that's.
But he came in third for our city. So like people come from out of town to do this. Yeah. He was third from our city. Yeah. Finishing time.
And I think he talked about
the
this
only
before.
Two who were better than him was first place and second place. As far as our city went. Right. Everybody else ahead of him was from out of town. I was like,
Oh, our
oh,
city. That's what you're meaning by it. Okay, that makes
yeah.
more
So
sense.
like, if the people from
You
our
said
city
like
who
the
read
only people who did better than him was first and second place. I'm like,
from our
and
city.
I was like, no shit, he was in third. Like what?
Well, no. So he was, I think, yeah, he was 12th or something. But
But he
still,
was third in our city and
and 12th
one,
overall.
right overall, and then place 1 and 2. Those were people from our
From
city.
our city, yeah. So he did crazy good. But anyway, so we're at work and they all me and like another guy there. We're trying to be healthier and better and all that. So uh, we have this thing now. It's you have to run a minimum of X miles a week. We started out at 3 miles, which everybody, if anybody's doing anything, it's not a lot.
It
But
really
for
isn't.
me, that is a lot because I've
Right.
never run.
Exactly.
So we did that for a while, and that's just minimum. You can do more if you want
Right.
earlier and when fall time and stuff, I was doing it. I was out there 3, 4 days a week running and getting better. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't even run a half mile. By the end, I was up to 2 miles. I think I could hold like a 9.5 minute pace for those 2 miles,
Yeah.
which again, not great, but huge improvement, like miles ahead of
Mm-hmm.
where I was at. Then winter came.
That's it. That's why I got the gym membership. I was trying to avoid it because I'm like, that's another expense. But I can't run. I mean, I do have some stuff here that I worked out with low. I need that release because I just get stir crazy
My
because
big thing
I
is
need
it's
to.
cardio because like right
Yeah.
now I'm not even worried about building muscle. I need to drop weight. Like ideally I'd lose 40 pounds, but it's pretty
You
ambitious.
you you gotta set tiny goals, achievable goals, because as soon as you hit it, you're like, next goal time. You're
Well, and
more
mine it's in about 6 months and my goal is to be 20 pounds down, which seems like a lot, but at the same time, because of how much weight I gained so quickly, there's no reason I can't drop like 10 pounds in the next month.
oh yeah.
Like it just from not drinking and then cutting out fast food and stuff. There's no reason that alone can't drop 10. And then as long as I continue exercising,
You'll get there.
I
You
yeah,
definitely
so
will.
that's my in 6 months, that's where I want to be at. 20 pounds down. And well, then the guys at work, I was like, I'm not doing this. And then I changed my mind because it's actually really smart. Now instead of 3 miles a week for January, it's 4 miles a week minimum. And then February it'll be 5 a week minimum. I think all the way up to I think it'll be like 9 miles a week minimum. And then there's 1 week before the race where it's 10 miles minimum.
Just at the gym today, I did 3 miles.
Well, and
So
that's the
like,
nice thing too is it's not like you have to do at it. You don't have to do a 4 mile run. You
oh
just have to
yeah,
run. But my goal is to run that and get it done during the week, and then on the weekend I'll try to do like a 6 mile run and start pushing myself because I did when we got that little bit of nice weather. I ran a mile and a half and I was dying. I was absolutely dying. And I got home and I was like, yeah, I ran it. I didn't lose too much from like my fat gluttonous December. And then I realized that if I do the half marathon, I was like, oh no,
oh
that's
no.
11 and a half more miles.
Dude, it's a process, and like we talked about this before, where it's like I had to build up to that. I had to build up to be even able to run, and that took me 2 whole years.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and
now,
yeah,
like I
right
can
now I'm
just pick
not.
up and just like I can go.
I'm jogging, I will say that.
Yeah,
And it's well,
I'm jogging too. I'm not sprinting. You
and it's
crazy?
there's a 3 hour limit.
Look at these flippers. It's like running around with, those flippers that you use to go scuba diving. My feet are huge. And if
Well,
you're on the TikTok, you've seen my feet, you nasty pigs. All right, continue.
I want to get there. The goal is 3 hours or less for this. I think you can still finish it. They just kick you off the road and onto the sidewalk so they can open the area back up.
Yeah,
But I was like, I think it's completely achievable for me to run that in 3 miles or less. That's a 14-minute mile pace.
right.
And I'm already above that. I just have to get enough stamina that I can hold a pace better than that.
Yeah, it's holding that pace. And my pace is really solid right now. The only reason I was able to run like on the treadmill, the 3 mile thing, is because I'm like, I wonder how fast I can go. So I kept clicking the button up, and then pace was like, whatever the treadmill said was like 5.5. I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
Someone out there who has knowledge of treadmills is probably maybe a little impressed. And then other people don't know treadmills, like 5.5. That sounds like nothing. I don't know. It seemed
Well,
pretty
that's
fast
what,
to me.
and for like when it's crappy out weather wise, I do the elliptical because I told him there, I was like, I don't have a treadmill. I have nowhere to put a treadmill. I don't have the money for a treadmill at the moment. I was like, I have to, for wintertime, you have to let me use the elliptical to get my miles in. I was like, otherwise, I can't actually do
Oh,
this.
for all right, for your work people. I assume they all go to
Yeah.
the gym, and are they gym guys?
No, my boss and the other guy run outside in the snow.
Oh, they're like Giga Chads then.
No, That's the like my one bot. He's just like that committed to it, and he
No, I'm
always
saying
makes.
like Giga Chad, like he is Giga Chad committed to that.
Yeah, he's like, and he's crushing. He's crushing all
Because
of us
like I'm looking out
miles
my window
wise.
right now, road is clear. I'm not running that because I don't like snow. I don't like being cold. I love being warm.
Oh, see, the cold doesn't bug me. It's I don't want to fall in this. I don't want to fall. I don't want to hit a patch of ice or snow and then fall.
And then just face down, ass up in a ditch, like.
Well, we made the joke the other day. I went out for a run real quick. I was like mile and a half. It's not much, but I want to get outside and take advantage while I can.
Yeah.
So I'm running down my road, but unfortunately, I'm on the busy road. There's like a whole suburb area behind us that's like great to run in.
Yeah.
But I gotta run the 100 feet or whatever down. But a car was coming. So all right, whatever. My run's already started, so I'll just do a slow jog through my neighbor's yard, wait for him to pass. Well, I go in there and the grass is all wet. So I start slipping and sliding, and I was like, I'm gonna fall. And I was like, and a truck's coming. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. What do I do? What do I do?
It's
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And I was like, well, there's one option where I get hit by a car, but there's another option where I look like a total dickhead, but I'm not gonna get hit by a car. My neighbor's mailbox was in front of me.
okay.
I know they have a Ring camera because we've gotten their mail and I've dropped it off before. So I was like, ah, shit. So basically, I just lunge forward and I smack my fucking face and chest off the mailbox. And I mean, I like hit it and rebound, and I do like this weird spin thing around it into their driveway. So I know I'm on their Ring camera, just like whacking into the mailbox.
They probably got one of those little the picture frames that have the screen in it, and they just loop that. They loop that, and they're just sitting there around the fire, all cozy.
I was just hoping.
That.
I was like, man, I hope they have this set to just close range detection, and that's not on their camera.
No, they probably
I know.
saw it.
But
they
like I hit that and looped around. I mean, the car went by, and then I went back into the road. But I was like, this is why I don't run when it's snowy out.
For me, it's just the cold, but also my shoes are not the best because if you look at my gym shoes over there, flip them over, they're just all the tread is gone.
Do you have gym shoes or do you have running shoes?
They're Brooks, so they are running shoes.
I got Brooks Ghost, I think was it. I don't know. She named off a bunch of different names, but I think I went in, and because I'm so overweight and I have bad knees and all that, I was like, I need cushion. That was my big thing. I was getting really bad shin splints, like to the point I couldn't run.
Yeah, and like your joints, like
and I was like, I need something. I was like, I'm gonna spend a bunch of money, and this is bullshit. It's not gonna help. I was wrong. Anybody who wants to be a runner, invest in actual running shoes. They're expensive, but they make
worth
the
it.
world. I
need to get a new pair. Mine are beat up.
The first time I ran in them, I took 30 seconds off my mile pace because it hurt so much less. But yeah, I got a bunch of running stuff for Christmas and my birthday. I got like the long leggings. She got me a nice jacket that's like got reflectors on it. Tight shirts.
You're really going all in. I have none of that.
Running is and again, this was all gifts because I was like, man, well, I really want this, but it's hard to justify. Like, I don't need it to go do this stuff. And Kate was just like, you can get it. She's like, I need gift ideas. If you want it, we'll do that. I was like, sure. Because then that way I'm even more motivated to stick with it and to keep going.
Because you have this stuff. And once you find that certain pair that you always want to wear because it's the most comfortable, you will like, as soon as you're done with it, you'll like, pop the shirt off, pop the shorts off, whatever, throw it right in the washer and clean it. Because like when you go tomorrow, you want to wear that.
I'm disgusting. I just hang it over a railing to dry.
Oh, that's friggin' gross. Oh, fuck. Oh, disgusting. Because I sweat so much that I have to clean it. There's no way I can feel okay with putting it back on.
See, I actually, like, my shorts are fine because I don't sweat that much.
Are you serious? Like
my legs, my shirt soaked in sweat. My shorts, not
really. Dude, whenever
I'll change my underwear, obviously.
Okay,
because that's sweaty.
Because I'm sitting there. Just the thing I did today, and you messaged me. I'm gonna be a little late. I'm like, I have to shower because this room is starting to smell like balls. Like it was that bad. I was over there meal prepping, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, is that me? And I'm still wearing my gym shorts. It's just like pull the waistband out and just snap it, and just this waft of. I'm like, what the? All right, I need to go shower. That's why I said I'm like I have to shower, and I'm like I unlock the door, I put the little light on, so if you knock and I don't come in, like just get in here because I have to go do this or I'm gonna stink.
But yeah, no, So we got all this stuff. Come springtime is when I think I'm trying really hard not to lose it now. Like now I'm trying to get my diet and not even diet. I'm trying to eat better. We're trying to cut out drinking and like bad food. And if I can do that, have a little bit of exercise and not lose my whatever I've gained, then come springtime, I'm gonna try to like really go hard. So come springtime, I'm probably gonna have even less video game stuff to talk about because all I'm gonna be doing is like, yeah, I went for a run yesterday.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
don't feel
turn into
like
like a
right.
gym podcast, and we're like, oh yeah, we were lifting and being just bros
Well, like
and
I don't
sucking
even
each
care
other's
about
dicks at
muscle.
the gyms because that's what we
Yeah.
do.
Although
Uh,
I don't care about muscle, but I will say after starting running, like my top half still looks like trash. I'm turning into the one body type I never wanted,
where it's like,
where it's just scrawny everything or normal sized everything, but like just a massive gut and man titties. Like your
yeah,
history teacher, like every history teacher I've ever had,
uh huh.
I'm starting to get that, and I was actually like, I was like, oh my god, like it scared me when I saw it the one day. I was like, nope, 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 not
I'm
doing this.
I'm in the current process of bulking where
Oh, now
I
you lost the weight. Now you're trying to put
get
on the
muscle,
yeah.
and I made oatmeal this morning, so I got like those bananas hanging over there. I have this like breakfast routine, and it's oatmeal, but you mix like that muscle like powder into it.
Dude, that's what you got to do. You
Dude, and
got to
I'm sitting there
start.
and I eat it, and then I'm like that after I ate it, it was like then I went to the gym and it was like, oh yeah, I had a lot of, a lot of energy. I had a lot of I was able
Yeah,
to
the
do a lot more.
pre-workout stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what I realized was, and after doing a little research, I never put two and two together. Is like the only purpose someone does keto is to lose a lot of weight fast. That is the reason you do it.
Hmm.
Working out, anything like that, it is not good for because you don't have like any fuel. So if you're
Because it's low
working out,
carbs, and you
yeah,
need those carbs
exactly.
to. Yeah.
So if you are working on low fuel, then you are like pushing yourself past your point. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, so you're telling me I've been working out, doing all this stuff without any fuel this whole time. So now I'm super interested on like doing like that marathon, but like carbing up before and just see like, could I like,
A lot of people say you're supposed to carb load for a couple days beforehand,
yeah,
and like obviously don't like
don't go crazy, but
We'll do it
like,
like try to do healthy carbs and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you need those carbs because you need your body needs that backup energy when you're running.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, was this the thing I was missing? Because it really felt like I just plateaued at this one point, and I was just like, oh, okay, I got to figure something else out.
Yeah, I'm just pumped because after all the running, I've started putting muscle on my thighs and legs. I was sitting there the one day after the shower, and I was like, "Ooh, baby got some legs."
That's when I started noticing that, I'm sitting there just the same
I
situation. I'm just feeling. I'm like,
maybe this is TMI,
"Mm,
but I put my jeans on and my calves were like
mm,
pressing against the sides of the jeans. I was like, "Is this what it's like to have muscle? This is weird."
what?" Yeah, I definitely like to show off
I put
the
I,
legs. Definitely.
I walked out to Kate. I had my shorts on. I pulled them up and I showed her my leg. I was like, "Look, I got
You
muscle."
like flex. You're like, yeah, and
Yeah,
it
she was like, "It looks like a leg," and then I flexed it, and she's like, "Holy shit, you do have some on there."
some muscle. Oh, man, who would have known? You put in the time and effort and
Yeah, I know.
that
When you're not a fat
grind.
sack of shit, you get results.
As I was kind of debating today, I was like, I gotta do my errands. I'm like, I wonder if I want to do a little Taco Bell, just a little.
I was actually reading an article too where it said you don't. So you're bulking, so you're a different one. But for anybody doing weight loss, they have all like those. Should I intermittent fast? Should I only
Yeah,
eat this stuff? Basically, the person very politely put it as it's a very simple thing, you fucking idiots. Don't be a complete fucking idiot. Calories in has to be less than calories out. That's it. If you're
right.
going for weight loss, they're like, it doesn't matter if you eat right before bed. They're like, that might affect your sleep, which affects all this other stuff. So it's not recommended, but you're not going to gain weight from if you eat late at night. You're not going to, she's like, if you intermittent fast, that's fine because it gives you less time to consume calories. But if you consume 5,000 calories in that period, you're still not going to lose weight. They're like, you can do all this fad stuff, but the end of the day, it's calories in is less than calories out. Period.
Yeah,
That's it.
all the stuff I got food wise is it's low carb still, but the carb is a little higher. But also the calories are lower too, which now I'm just transitioned to. I stick to very low calorie,
Hmm.
just so I mean most of the stuff that I'll do in a day, I will be able to burn that off.
Well, and they said the other thing too is the amount of calories you lose from working out is still less than your resting calories burned. Like just the calories you need throughout the day. Because I
Yeah,
looked at mine and I was like, how am I burning this much? It's because I'm fat. That's because my body needs more energy to move around and do stuff, so I'm burning more calories. They
Mhm.
said exercise obviously is good for a healthy heart. If you're trying to build muscle, they're like exercise is still good, but you can't eat like garbage and exercise and expect to lose weight. Like
Yeah.
it's just eat less calories than what you burn in a day and make healthy choices. They're like they said like all these other things you can do if that's what helps you. Like if you need that limit,
Yeah.
that's fine, but you can't abuse it and think you're gonna lose weight
Mhm.
because like it just doesn't work that way. So that's why I'm trying. We're getting there. I'm hoping in 6 months I'll look a little bit better. I'm hoping my man titties might be a little smaller. I'm hoping my
You'll just
dad
be
bod might be a little
you'll
bit
just
more
be
of.
jacked, just muscles everywhere.
I'm not doing any muscle building yet. I wouldn't mind going back to that, but I'd probably do like push-ups and crunch, like just stuff at home
I
to start toning a little
I've
bit.
gotten to the point where I go to the gym and I'm like observing my traps, which is like this whole section here where you do this and like all the muscle and like the bones. I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I pulled my mic away too because I don't know why, but I was like, man, I'm becoming one of those people.
No, you want to see your progress. That's I
I mean, it's like this literal like realistic progress that you see.
Yeah, and then it's a great feeling. When granted, this was a decade ago, but after I broke up with one of my exes, 6 months straight, I was only working part time and I was single. So you know what I did? I ate eggs and I exercised. I'm not kidding. Now, granted, I was never like ripped, but I put on muscle. I could do the fucking peck dance.
Ooh,
That one day I was in the mirror. I was like, I wonder, and I did it, and I was like,
I could do the
I
peck
squealed like a
dance.
little girl. I was like, oh my god!
So excited for the peck dance.
But that's what I'm. So we're thinking about kids. We're kind of in the process of like, now's the time if we're gonna have kids. And I'm like, well, I'm fat. I already have a dad bod. Like, if I'm gonna get healthy and keep a healthy routine and be around and have enough energy to like watch my kids and play with my
Yeah, and
kids
to
and all
keep
that.
up with the kid because they are just endless fountains of energy.
So I'm like, I got to make the change now, and that's why
Hmm.
I figure. So we've been going for a while. You want to end on some New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, yeah, we'll do the
Okay.
New Year's resolutions, and then I have something I have to inform all the lovelies out there about.
All right. So mine was it's kind of a cop out, but it's something I know I can keep up with, and obviously it's health related.
Hmm.
Mine was the stereotypical eat healthier, weight loss
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Sorry, I do have to check this to make sure my wife is not passed out and dying.
Passed out and dying, or passed out or dying.
Probably both. Blah 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 blah. My apologies. I have to
You handle this, and
answer this.
I'll throw out
My
my
apologies. This is
resolution. Oh, okay. You like put your mic down. You're like, I was like, do I need
Oh
to
no
stop
no
the
no.
recording?
I was watching. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. All right, resolution. Because everyone has one. Honestly, it's been what I've been doing. I just want to go to the gym. I want to build muscle mass. I want to be able to lift up a very heavy goth mommy and do the dirty dancing thing. That is all.
Oh, just holding somebody.
Yeah,
That's a good one
and it has
though.
to be a goth mom. It has to be a goth mom or an elder goth. I mean, whatever.
I am. Mine's similar. It's just health. My halfway point goal this year is obviously the half marathon. I want to finish in under 3 hours, which
Yes.
again, not the craziest goal, but for me that would be like a huge thing. I've
Yeah.
never been able to run. When I was a kid, I think the fastest mile I ever ran, I it was like 9 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
which is again, especially when you're younger and healthier and all that, it was slow. But
Hmm.
I'm getting up to that point now as a 31-year-old man who's probably, well, not probably, I am like 40 pounds overweight. So that's my goal. Eat healthier, get into like stick with running and all that. And then my actual goal is to get in shape enough that we can post a photo on one of your socials.
Of
Be like,
flexing.
oh, we'll still be fully clothed. I ain't, these titties are for
Oh,
my wife
I was
alone.
about to
But
say we're
like,
not going to do like a fireman calendar of the It Sure Is a podcast
that's
and
gonna be
very
next
like.
year. That's gonna be next year's goal when we're both ripped and like have muscles and stuff to do that. I would do one then.
Oh yeah, all
But
right.
we'd have to wear masks and
That.
stuff.
Oh,
I want to make it creepy.
we'll wear masks. It'll be like the either the collector mask or the mask from the Purge, Like those masks, just
Those,
like
or we could
flexing.
get the Quarian helmets. That TikTok you
Oh,
sent me of
even
that was the
better.
funniest out of left field. This person's been making TikToks for like 2 hours, flips around to the Quarian mask. They're a fucking weirdo. I
And they're in
died. Yeah,
cosplay, and
I
of
was
course the
dying
Quarry
laughing when
cosplay.
they did that.
So, all right, resolutions
Uh,
out the window. Oh, well, maybe this is another resolution, but on the socials, I've been hinting at, project, and we are in the final stages of me assembling that. I did most of my work on my end. We have an artist who is going to be joining us for it, who is putting together the art, and I have to spend probably the portion of today browsing the internet, finding someone to commission. But we are going to be doing a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
y'all aren't ready.
You really, the amount of time.
Imagine my chaotic mind in the Dungeons and Dragon world and your DMing.
Yes.
I am going to fuck up your story
Oh, you probably
completely
will.
unintentionally, but it's gonna happen.
It's.
What do? Suck its dick.
I'm like,
Throw myself at its mercy. It can have me. Just let me live. You have a party of experienced fighters with you, and you want to let it fuck you? Yes.
that
That is our best chance.
that is our best chance.
It is a homicidal monster. Yeah, base instincts. Come on, guys, keep up.
base instincts. Drop on the knees, spread cheeks. Yes. So we are going to be doing a.
I cast magic lube.
Oh my god! Just thinking about that magic, like you pull out a wand and you just fire it, and at the end, just at the tip, just like just little spurts of it just come out, and you're like, good enough. Yeah, so we're going to be doing that. I'm not going to reveal name or anything. Once all the ducks are in a row, guys will definitely know. And also that's going to change the schedule a little bit, because usually episodes for the podcast here come out weekly. Well, it's going to be every other week once that starts, like a week of this podcast and then a week of the D&D podcast, and we're going to go back and forth. And also it will be you and Carly, who's been on the podcast. She's going to do it, and we have two other people, which
Oh, we have two other people.
yeah, that's where the technical issues are going to come into play, because
I was only aware of one other individual.
no, there's two other people, and one lives in New York, one lives in Texas. So I have to honestly, at this point, it is the tech side of things, of setting everything up and creating this spot into a place where, yeah, I can have chords running and stuff. It's possible. I just have to get some expert help on like, and just where do I go from here? But yes, Dungeons and Dragons podcast. It's going to be a good time. I don't know. I just listened to a lot of D&D podcasts over the holiday, and before that, I'm like, shit, if I could do a podcast, I could do this.
Yeah, it's just we just make a story out of it.
Exactly. And all my stuff's set up and ready to go. Your stuff, everyone's stuff is set up. It's just the finishing touches, just like putting everything together. Because
now it's the background work of like, oh, we're ready. It's just how
the technical side of things. Like when I started this podcast, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and it was only until like recently, until like this season of whatever we're recording, is when I figured things out, and I can just, I know what to do. I know how to do this. I know how to promote that, whatever. I would like to start that podcast with all that planned out. So there's no like, oh, oops, we did this wrong. My number one fear, honestly, is since we're going to be recording with people from other places in the world, like my fear is like something goes wrong with the audio and like everyone else's audio works, but one person's. And I'm like I have to throw it all away because we can't use it.
That might be kind of funny.
It might be kind of funny for you.
What do we do? Silence. That's a great idea. Let's go.
So I would just have the person just like,
you would just dub their
kind
voice
of like,
in.
Oh my gosh, that would even be better.
This is what we're gonna do here, guys. I don't know why I went Mickey Mouse with it, but
that is, I could probably make that work. Yeah, so that was the last thing I wanted to throw in at the end of the episode. I've been I'm very excited about this because my storytelling, creative writing side of things have been coming out a little bit, and I mean there's so many files on that computer over there of literally just like notes, the world map, and just all this stuff. And like
Yeah, you
I'm
sent
I'm
me the
I'm put
map, and I was like, "Oh, is this for a video game?" And I was like, "No, whoa!"
I'm like, I mean, honestly, now is the best time to be a D&D person because there's so much stuff that's just automated at this point. I just typed in, I need a map generator. Boom, it popped up, and I could just put the names of places and dictate like regions and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun time. I'm very excited about it. But, you'll know when that happens because I'll let you know because I can't guarantee any specific time. But I said, at the start of the year, I would let people know that, hey, this is what's happening. We're going to do a D&D
I
podcast.
want you all to know he gave me homework, and it was the first time in probably a decade I was excited for the homework assignment. He told me, he's like, "Hey, can you get, can you think about X, Y, and Z?" And I was like, "I got my own files. I just got to pick my favorite and go from there."
And that's exactly what I needed. And eventually, I finally got all the pieces together. It's going to be fun. It's obviously going to be inspired by some things. So if you're like sitting there and going, "Oh, this sounds a lot like," yes, we're all inspired by stuff. We all copy each other.
If
Don't,
you've listened to even a single episode of this before now, you fucking know what inspires me. So,
yeah,
like, come on.
we steal stuff. We think we're intelligent, but we steal stuff. And also, I mean, we are going to be playing. We're playing D&D, but I know some people are like the purists, and I'm like, I can understand that, but also sometimes people take the.
This is a story
I'm throwing.
with D&D in it. This is not D&D like a podcast about a hardcore D&D game. This is going to be a D&D inspired story
Yes, that's the best way to put
with
it.
people playing myself who have never played D&D before.
And
So,
that's what I'm excited about because two people have played. They're veterans. I currently play, so I'm kind of aware. And no, I wouldn't say veteran. And then like you and Carly are pretty much almost
see,
brand
I
new.
know the Dungeons and Dragons world through books and video games, but I've never played. I played one time, and I don't even count it because it was a horrible experience. The people weren't great to play with. I'm sorry if you ever hear this.
But
Um,
they probably played with components. That's probably what they did.
I don't. I just
Components is whenever you cast a spell or an incantation, you have to have like two scraps of this and
it,
one of these. We're not doing that. So
I
if
also
that affects your enjoyment of a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, don't listen because I ain't doing that.
yeah, I was more. I don't think I was prepared for it. Like they were like having me write down all these notes and stuff about what I could and couldn't do and the attacks and this and that. And I was like, this is like a one time thing for me. I'm not that invested. Like you guys should do this and like let me use your cards.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
because this is literally like I just wanted to see what this was about. So maybe it was my fault. I was young. I was unprepared. I didn't know the amount that would go into it. But I'm going in with a more open mind this time, so I think it's gonna be a lot more fun.
Oh, it's definitely going to be fun. And just scenarios
We're gonna
that
be
I have.
sucking off every creature in the realm.
You're going to be sucking off every creature. It's going to get to the point that every creature in the realm has been sucked off
I'm
one
gonna
way or
be
another.
like, they're gonna be seeking me out because I'm gonna be like, yo, homeboy got that neck.
He is the throat goat.
I'm gonna become a druid just by association. Man, how do you get them to listen to you, dude? It's real easy.
It's real easy.
You just gotta open up your throat.
just open up your throat, and they're like, "Wait, what?" The main antagonist. Well, he doesn't. Yeah, no,
Him too, as if he's gonna kill us.
He doesn't have one. I'm
Now I'm
sorry.
intrigued. Well, how am
mean,
I supposed to survive the encounter?
I guess you'll have to figure that out because I was just sitting there thinking of the antagonist. I'm like, wait, yeah, he doesn't have one.
Oh, I guess I actually gotta fight.
I guess actually have to play the game right. All right, we're wrapping it up. Thank you for listening. As always, we're the Kings have returned. We're here.
We were back with a banger this episode. We got more stuff coming out this year, so
and I'm very excited for the D&D thing. I'm so there's so much. There's like so much I want to say, but I need to hold back on that because I just need to put out just the little tease, like this is what we're doing, and hopefully
build that hype.
Exactly.
Get us some fucking sponsors, you fucking little. Tell your friends to listen. I want to start making money off this, not for my pure shill self, but so we can start doing more.
I do know that Audible, if you get in contact with them, they pretty much will sponsor anybody. I have been looking into that, so
Again,
maybe.
I don't need to be a millionaire off of this. Just enough that we can start giving you guys more of these tidbits.
Tidbits.
I really do want to do more. So new year, new us. We're gonna make it happen. New slogan: Don't be a complete fucking idiot. We love you guys.
Just put it in the bottom. Don't be a fucking idiot. We love you guys. Yeah, that's the most like inspiring thing that you could probably say this. Eric said, it's like, don't be a fucking idiot. We love you guys.